I'm Karl Wells, and this is Point to Point. My guest today is Sheilagh Guy Murphy, the former First Lady of St. John's. Also an actor, producer, director, writer, organizer, and supporter of charitable events. And she's also a fabulous tea maker. How's that for an introduction?
Oh, that's pretty good. You left out the part about cute as a button.
Cute as a button.
Cute as a button. Cute as a button.
Cute as a button, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. How are you?
It's good to see you.
And it's really good to see you.
I'm fine, thank you. All the better for seeing you. Sheilagh Guy Murphy. Now, you weren't always Sheilagh Guy or Sheilagh Guy Murphy. You were born Sheila Raymond.
Sheila Marie Raymond.
I looked up the Raymonds in the phone book.
Did you?
There's only about 30 of them there.
Yeah.
So it's not all that common a name, is it?
No.
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 But then there's nothing common about
There's
you.
nothing common about me, babe.
Tell me about the Raymonds.
My father's crowd is the crowd from the Ghouls, where all of the people, you know, all of the creative types come from, you know.
Apparently.
Yeah, Bobby Chafe, the Kylie girls, you know, yeah.
Alan
the great
Hawco
writers.
comes from...
Yeah, he's down Petty Harbour. But it's
Oh,
close
Petty
enough.
Harbour.
Yeah, oh yeah. Jerry Doyle, the writer, yeah, all kinds of really brilliant, great people come out of there. Of course, Wayne Johnson. So yeah, yep. That's where my father's from. But I was born in St. John's.
But is that I mean, it sounds like an English name, but your name is Sheilagh, which is very Irish. It's like Colleen.
With a G-H, yeah.
How did you get the name Sheilagh? Is there a story behind that?
Oh yeah, it's really deep. I think it was the name of the nurse that was in the delivery room with Mother. There's no great, no.
Okay.
And the ancestry thing, you know, there's English, Irish Raymonds as well, and French. And I spent my whole high school going around, my name is Raymond. My name is Raymond. You know, that kind of stuff. And but generally, my grandfather Raymond, I can remember him saying, no, we ended up here in the Ghouls because the English drove us out here. So I'm just assuming it's a French name. You know, kind of the masterless men kind of people that were all went out that way. Yeah, I reckon that's who they are. But I'm also, I'm probably going to get slapped for this, but on the wrist, of course, for saying things that husband used to say all the time. You know, ancestors are kind of like potatoes. The best of them are underground. So I have no idea who they are. They could be anybody.
Yeah, I can hear him say that.
You
too.
sure can.
So
meant as in fun, not in any disrespect.
No, that's right. Tell me about young Sheilagh and her world. What kind of neighborhood did you grow up in?
I grew up in central St. John's. And, you know, your regular 3-bedroom, 1 bathroom, 7 children, everybody fighting over it every morning kind of thing. Went to the nuns, the boys went to the brothers, and Mass of a Sunday. Yeah, you know, your standard, nothing exotic about it. I remember one time Mummy was at my house and somebody said to Mother, my God, she must have been a handful when she was a youngster. And Mummy looked at it, well, you met Mummy. Mummy looked at this man and said, what do you mean? And he said, well, she's, you know, she's always on the go. She's just like that. Mom said she never opened her mouth. She was always sat in the corner with a book in her face. And I said, and then she said, and who the hell would hear her? She said, with 7 of them. So that's generally how it's just your basic kid. Yeah. You know, but very, very much dedicated to my reading. I was a savage reader, and I was a very in school. Now I was a bit of I don't know. I guess I could have considered a class clown at some point, but I was always a bit of you know, the one who was in the choir and the one who was in this and the one who was in that. And I was in all those kinds of things, but at home. Just, you know, your regular old stuff. Sit down and eat your supper, now go up and do your homework. Now sit down, say your prayers, and I'll go to bed out of it, basically.
So...
nothing exotic.
Tell me about your mom and dad. Did they have a big influence on you growing up? My
father's smile, I think. My father had tremendous love for his children, no two ways about it. My father I would think, would be considered a great boyo. He loved to laugh, and he was, everybody loved my father. He worked at the railroad. He was just a wonderful father. My mother was your typical woman with 7 youngsters on the floor. I once said to Mommy, when I was in my 40s, I said, so Mom, I said, you know, I'm getting sweats at night, I'm getting hot flashes. By the way, I think I'm having one now. These lights. But anyway, I said, Mommy, I said, when did you have your menopause? And she looked at me and she said, I think it was a Tuesday. She said, when in the name of God was I going to have a menopause?
When did I have time for it?
Time to have, you know, baking the bread and clean the floors. And she worked making beds and cleaning floors at the university to put 7 of us through school,
wow.
you know, to help support the family. My mother was a brilliant woman, strong woman.
I know you went to Holy Heart. You were a Holy Heart girl?
Yeah, I went to Presentation
Tell
Convent.
me about your school years.
I loved, and every chance I get, and I do this on DVS, I do it every time I go on stage, I say, thank you to the nuns. I was taught by nuns. I went to Presentation Convent, and then I went to Holy Heart, and after that I went downhill. Because I'm just kidding. No, that's not the truth, actually. But I had a wonderful education. You think about it, you know, coming from a certain socioeconomic background in this town. I mean, I wasn't sent away to England to school. I wasn't sent to any private schools. And the women in this town, the nuns that I'm talking about, who were teachers, were excellent teachers. They were women who had gone off and studied at the Catholic University of America or gone to Ireland and studied. And they were wonderful educators. And I had a great education through both of those schools, and very proud to say it.
So when did you decide that you wanted to become a professional actor?
Well, I
assume that your first role was on stage.
Yes, true. Well, my first professional role was on stage, yeah. With Rising Tide, actually. At the
Donna Butt.
Wait a minute, I lied. That was not my first professional butt. Donna, sorry, tried to give it to you. But yeah, no, my first professional role was the year before that with a group. I don't even think it had a flippin' name. What was it called?
The Mummers?
No, I worked with the Mummers, yeah, but that was after. But the very first professional job I did was Al Pittman's West Moon. And I'm trying to remember the name of the group that did it. Mm-hmm. But it was like, there was a whole bunch of us, like Mary Walsh was in it. No, was Mary in it? Janice Spence and Rick Boland, Jim Payne, myself, you know, Pat Byrne. You know, wonderful, fabulous people like that. So that was my first, and then the very next, and then Donna wanted somebody to do Tom Cowles' Loved Our Fathers. So she picked me to be in that, because Donna has in those days, had a very interesting way of auditioning people. She'd call you up and say, I got something for you. That was your audition. And then the next year, Donna was doing The Review.
Oh, God.
And I did the very first, no, she was doing Joey. And I did Joey with Rising Tide. I was the only woman in Joey. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so yeah, toured that oh, thank God for Joey. That kept my children in bread and milk for a couple of years, I can tell you. Mm. Yeah, that was as an actor, that was great. Yeah, mm-hmm. But I was doing community theater for many years before that, and of course MUDS at university, and the Brother Rice Drama Club and Holy Heart Drama Club. I was always doing drama, but that was when they say professional, that's just a word meaning somebody gave you a salary.
Yeah.
You know, because there's an awful lot of community theater people out here in this province that are not considered professional, that are more professional.
I remember being in The Music Man with Gordon Pinson, and I got paid $50.
Yeah, an honorarium.
An honorarium.
Yeah. But before that, I taught school before that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what did you teach?
I taught second grade my first year in Kings Cove, Bonavista Bay. And the next year, and then I went back to university, and then I taught special ed. I taught special ed for a number of years. Mm-hmm. And then I started to act full time when I decided to do that. Yeah.
So,
How about-
who were some of the leading lights that you acted with? People who really kind of impressed you, or maybe people you looked up to as thespians?
Thespians, you say? Thespians. Did you say that, Carl? Did you just say that? Thespians. Let me see. Well, Gordon, of course. My great friend, Brenda Devine, was a consummate actor.
Brenda, she was, yeah.
God rest her soul. She truly was. There are a lot of people that I've worked with that I consider truly professional, dedicated actor who hone their craft every single day of their life. Bernie Stapleton is one of them, who works on her craft night and day, day and night. Just incredible, you know. So many of them. Oh my God, I'd be afraid to start mentioning. I'm afraid I'd leave somebody out, and they'd all have a French fit.
Okay, I'll get you off the hook.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Young People's Theatre. You did Young People's
Newfoundland
Theatre.
Young People's Theatre.
Yeah.
That was a professional theatre company that I started because there was a dearth of professional theatres dealing with topics that I thought was important here in this province. We were bringing in performers from up along. And I thought, well, we've got some pretty darn good young actors in this town. And so I started a professional theatre company, meaning they got their salary and they got their, their stamp money and all the rest of it. And we toured the province on the First Circuit and Second Circuit and then to the schools for years, doing topics like AIDS.
Which Mark Critch was in.
Mark was in that, for sure, and Sean Panting, my son Steve Guy, on and on. Alcohol, teenage alcohol, abuse, smoking. Bobby all of them, Patrina Bromley, you go on and on, every single one of them. I call them my chickens. They all did their thing there. So that was very fulfilling.
Who would write this material?
We did, and yes, it was collectively written. And we also wrote a bunch of, I took Emile Benoit's stories of the Terre Neuvienne that were all written in the West Coast patois, and that Gerald Thomas from the folklore department had put in book form, had those translated into English, had them translated it back into French. Big shout out to Jeanette Planchat for helping me do that. And did those in French and toured them to all of the French immersion classes in the province. So that was fabulous. A very, very successful company. I was very proud of that.
You did a little bit of television as well, because I remember, oh, by the way, you and I hold the distinction of having acted on Skipper and Company.
Yeah,
I know you played a librarian on it.
Yeah,
but, I played a burglar. I burglarized Skipper's lighthouse.
I remember that. I remember that. Yeah, I think I did whatever TV shows that were done, like Pigeon Inlet.
Well, Pigeon Inlet. Didn't you play the school teacher?
Yeah, I did a couple of those. Yeah.
In 1994.
Yes.
You married.
Husband.
The mayor.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
John Murphy.
Yeah, I was 44, he was 78.
And you were, I heard a story about you walking along the beach, and he saw a stone.
Yeah, that's his story. I saw the rock, I picked it up.
Well, why don't you tell the story?
Well, because you've only heard husbands.
Okay, I want to hear your side now.
We were down in Trinity. Donna Butt is getting into my story again. Maybe she's got a role for me. Give us a call, Donna. Donna was opening the Trinity pageant. That was the year. It was 25 years ago, you know.
Wow.
25 years. Yeah. So we went down to Trinity, and we were coming back through. We went down around Branch and like that. We were in Branch and down on the beach in Branch. And everywhere I go around the world, long before I ever met John, I used to pick up a stone everywhere I went to have as a, this is a good day, good place, good, So I'd pick up a stone. So I picked up this little stone and put it in my pocket. And a couple of weeks later, yeah, happy now. Sorry about that. I apologize.
That's okay.
No, why should I? It's my emotions. It's all real. It's good. Anyway, so I put this in my pocket. And a couple of weeks later, he tells the BBC that he's getting married to me, and I go, oh, okay, yeah. And so he said to me, what would you like as a wedding ring? And I said, I don't want a wedding ring. I'm not a jewelry person. And I said, no. I said, I'd be happy with that rock I picked up out in Branch. And he said, where is that? And as it happened, I was wearing the same jacket, and I said, there it is, right there. So I spit on it, got the bit of stuff off, And he said, oh, let me see that. And he took it, and he said, okay. He said, I'm going to keep that as a memory. And next thing you know, he'd gone down to T.O. Hammelman's and had it sent off and polished, and it was a piece of agate. And had it, I'm not wearing it today. I should have known you were going to ask me that story. And anyway, yeah, and had it set, and it was in the shape of a heart.
Wow.
It was only gorgeous. It is only gorgeous.
That
and
must be
pretty
really
special.
pretty. Yeah.
I'll send you a picture of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you got married at a very interesting time in our history because it was the lead up to the big 500th anniversary celebrations.
Well, they needed to have somebody to have a party, Karl.
There you
what can I
go.
tell you?
And so you must have been involved in some of the planning of some events, and
Oh,
you certainly participated in a lot of the events that happened.
Oh, yeah. But City Hall in 1997 was filled with some very, very, very competent, talented, wonderful people who work there. And in the tourism department and so forth. And they were instrumental. Bernadette Walsh comes right to my mind. They were instrumental in putting an awful lot of stuff together. They were fabulous. And yeah, and because husband was the mayor at the time, it was quite fortuitous that I'd glommed onto his coattails. And
but I was gonna ask you this. Up until you and Mayor Murphy,
yeah,
the spouse of the mayor was never seen.
No.
Never participated
And still not.
in any of the events, and I don't think even
Not
today.
so much, yeah.
Not so much today.
Yeah.
But you really became, and I call you the first lady of St. John's
Yeah.
at the beginning, but I truly meant that
Yeah.
because you really were. And it worked so well having both of you participate in all of these events together. And was that a conscious decision on your part?
oh gosh, no. I mean, before I met John Murphy, I was a recognizable person anyway. People knew me from stage and being on the radio, my big yapper advertising stuff. So people knew who I was. I wasn't, somebody hiding under a bushel someplace. I had a public personality. And when I married John Murphy, that public personality wasn't going anywhere. And my personality, and I wasn't going anywhere. So might as well make use of it. And I just thought of it, and it just seemed to me that if your spouse is a person who is doing all of these things, well, you support it and you do it what you can. I mean, our house became a revolving door. People used to actually say to John, they'd say things like, and they gave you this house, did they? As mayor. And John would go, no, that sort of thing. And no, but John Murphy was the most gregarious, personable, hospitable human being that I've ever met in my life. He loved it. He used to walk down. Well, first of all, he walked to work every single day, and he talked to everybody. He'd stop if there was a guy from the city that was filling in a pothole. John would stop and say, "How's it going, Bob?" He knew his name. He knew he knew the guys in the unions. He knew, okay, and he'd stop and he'd talk to them. He'd walk back home to lunch. This is before I was married to him. And he always did it. When he was running the arcade, he was up and down. When he became mayor, if he had to go downtown to a meeting or something from City Hall, he'd start and he'd walk one end of Water Street to the other, and he would stop every tourist he saw and go, "Hi, I'm John, I'm the mayor. Here's a pin. Wear that proudly. It's the pin of St. John's." And that's what he was like. Now, you can't get infected with that and not catch something. You got to be your personality then just keeps coming. So that's what I did. And we had a flippin' ball, and we had a ball afterwards when I like to say he left office. We continued to have a ball.
So all of the things you did, all the people you met, all of the events, what's at the pinnacle? What stands out more than anything?
You mean other than marrying John?
Other than marrying
Okay,
John.
other than marrying John. The pinnacle would have to be meeting the Queen. 4 times.
Wow.
Don't want to say anything. How many times did you meet her?
Me?
Yeah. First you weren't on the Great Eastern, and now you didn't meet the Queen. It's okay, Carl. I'll still put you down
seen
for,
her.
you know. Yeah. No,
First time
seriously.
I saw her was in 1959.
I got to tell you,
And I saw her in Bonavista. Vista.
yeah.
And I saw
Okay,
her.
here, go,
I
look,
saw
look,
her
look.
riding down.
How old are you?
Riding down the Mall with
The Pall Mall.
Pall Mall with Prince Philip.
Yeah.
And that's the closest I ever got to her, and it was an open carriage. So and I got a really good picture.
Well,
but
that's
I've
good.
never met her.
No, I did. I was in her company that many times, and it was, it was kind of like, anybody says they're not impressed by meeting the Queen of England, I'm going to go,
Wow.
pants on fire.
Yeah.
You know, that's all I got to say to you. But
Yeah.
it was pretty flippin', I got to tell you. And the CBC radio called me up and asked me how did I know did I curtsy? I said, yeah, I did. And they said, you curtsied? And I said, yeah. Talk about all those Irish ancestors rolling over. Anyway, so I did curtsy, and yeah. So that was that. Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this. Divas.
Yeah.
You actually created Divas, and you hired
Yeah.
Terry Andrews to direct the Divas, the first Divas, right?
Yeah. Now, the way that went was this. Got to get it right. I produced the first Divas, but what happened was that husband had a charity that needed money, so I was doing a karaoke contest, and
I was in that.
you came and helped with that. You were judging that, and I did that for weeks, and that was the money for his the Air Cadet Squadron that he was
Right.
working on, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so one night there was Terry Andrews and myself and Tessa Crosby. We were judging, and I said to the girls afterwards, I said, the talent in this place. These are not professional singers. These are just guys coming home after work, getting up there and singing, and they're flipping excellent, these young men and women. And I said, I bet you a nickel I could put on a production. Every one of them is a diva. And that's where it came from. And as it happened, the Autism Society was looking for a fundraiser. And so I said to Terry, what do you think? I'll produce it. SGM Productions. You think I'd know better than hitting that, wouldn't you? Sorry. And SGM Productions will produce it. I said, Terry, you up for, I didn't hire Terry. Terry volunteered. Terry was right on board. So it was me and Terry, and Tess, of course, opened it. And and it was flippin' brilliant. Sold out Mile One Stadium, and
I was there. I saw it.
That was a flippin' great show.
Was it just a one-night thing?
A one-nighter, 7,000 people in the house.
Wow.
Yeah, and flew them in from everywhere. It was amazing, and all women, and Jason Greeley. I glommed onto Jason because he was just on Canadian Idol, and I figured he'll sell tickets. No shame whatsoever. Thank you, Jason. Yeah. So did that, and been doing it ever since. And every year, now Terry and I co-produced it. And after I got sick that time, and then husband died, then I got sick, and then Terry took over a producer. But I still do all of the PR and host it, of course. And every year we raise awareness and funds for charity.
I didn't ask you about your writing. You've won awards for your writing.
Yeah.
You're a short story writer.
Yeah.
Do you ever plan on publishing any of these?
See,
Because people might actually like to read them.
Yeah, I know. Somebody asked me the other day, where can they see my short story? I said in my head. No, I have had some success with my short story writing, and just recently with the Writers Union of Canada, that national competition. I won't lie to you, pretty flippin' chuffed about that. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so you should be.
and that really has given me kind of a. What happened with the writing thing was I go, I'm not good enough, and because I'm such a savage reader, I go, I can't write a sentence as good as that. What am I doing? Mm. But winning this award last month, I'm like, that's kind of an affirmation. Maybe I should get at it and finish that book of short stories.
I think you should, and I want to wish you success in the future with your writing and everything else that you do.
Thanks.
And thank you very much for coming on the show and telling me about your life.
Oh, well, thanks for having me come on and have you listen to it all over again.
Now let's go out and have a martini.
All right. Thanks, darling. Love you.